welcome to today's video. So, today will be the start of probably more than 2 episodes worth of build because we are doing a little bit of a bigger one today, and it is set number 75315. It's from the Lego Star Wars lineup. And let me just show you. As you can see, the box is a little bit bigger this time. I can basically just cover myself in it. So let me maybe. I think I'm just gonna switch around to a different camera view to actually show you this box this time. So as you can see, we are building the Imperial light cruiser, which is known out of the Mandalorian TV series, where the season finally took place on. But I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to talk about that. But well, yeah, I thought it would be fitting after a lot of other Lego Star Wars sets to actually continue this series with like something a little bit bigger this time. So let me just show you the backside of the box. As you can see, we are also building a little bit of interior on this build. I have not heard the best um, words about this build in general, but I just wanted to check it out. And I was kind of interested in displaying it next to the regular Star Destroyer. Maybe we will rebuild a little bit of it after we finish it. We will see how we are going from here. But as mentioned, I will not be completing the full build in this video. So there will also not be a complete review section at the end of this, but I will give a few thoughts at the end of this stream about about my thoughts so far. Let's see how far we will actually come. So I have not yet opened this one. Um, we have well, we don't really have to talk that much about the box, I suppose. We've seen that the included minifigurines maybe already, if you paid attention to that. So there are a few that this set comes with. In particular, let me just read them off so that I don't get the names wrong. We are getting Grogu and the Mandalorian himself, as well as Cara Dune, Fennec Shand, Moff Gideon, and a Dark Trooper. The Dark Trooper is the same as you maybe have seen order from this elevator battle with Luke Skywalker that has come out this year already. So, all right, let's check the what is inside of this box. And I have to say it's a little bit hard to handle this size of set on this table, but we will get to it. We will get to it. So I'm just gonna put my mic a bit up so that you don't have to hear the clip purring too much, I hope. Alright, I already see the first step, so let's take that away from now because that's what we actually needing. But let's look through the contents. So as you can see, now we have emptied the box completely. You couldn't probably really see that because my light up there is not the best. But nonetheless, does not matter. You have to believe me on that one. So, well, let's put all the other stuff in here too, so that we can see what we are actually getting here. So you've seen step 1, I think, but let's also put this up here. Well, Jesus Christ, actually there's a little bit more than I expected this set to be in terms of steps, to be completely honest with you. But, well, nonetheless, not a problem at all. I'm sure it will be a fun build. So as you can see, we are getting quite a lot of bricks. Let me just see how many parts this build actually has. It has 1,336 pieces. Oh, and just to mention it really quickly in the beginning, maybe already, this at the moment sells for 160 euros or dollars on lego.com. But also I've seen it for a little bit cheaper on different sites that are kind of reselling it. For example, I have bought this, I think, on Amazon, but I'm not completely sure. I've definitely did not purchase it on Lego, because, well, I think you can save like 30 to 40 euros depending if you wait on a deal at least. So, all right, let's just fill this up so that you can see how many steps we actually have included. I hope it's okay if I do not have all the steps laid out in front of the camera, because it's, yeah, well, it's quite a lot of stuff actually. So let's just sort through it. I think we have 6 building steps. Let's just scroll into the instruction manual to see. No, actually we have 9 different steps. Let's keep number 1 on the side. I hope that the sound of this is bearable. The parts cause a little bit of an annoying sound probably to some people, so I apologize immediately for that. But after we part all of these back up, we are already set and do not need to hassle around with that anymore. So I usually like to sort them out a little bit first, so that I'm just have to grab them when I reach this step. Alright. Well, it's already going into the camera on this side too. Maybe I just put my keyboard a bit away. And maybe see the next upcoming step already. So, and I think we are set. So we have 2 different bags for step 1. And we are also getting a bridge separator in this build. I have not mentioned yet that the instruction manual comes in this plastic wrap, I guess, to protect it from getting bent up too much. In my case, it did not get damaged at all, which is nice to see. That's always something to be very happy about, because in some sets that's just completely wrangled around at some point. All right, let's just cut it up a little bit, because I just want to get to the sticker sheet especially. All right, I'm just gonna rip the rest of this, I guess. So we are getting a sticker sheet for the inside of the build, very likely. I hope this can focus upon. All right, and other than that, the instruction manual itself, as you can see, is quite substantial. So because this is a set, let me just see, rated 10 plus, we are actually getting quite a detailed step-by-step instruction, where we do not have too many steps that are concerned with just like putting up like 100 parts or so. Usually these are very easy to build. So as you can see, we are just adding like 1 to 5 parts or something like that, but very easy instructions. Also, it's quite well printed, I would say. I always miss a little bit to have like a sort of red underlining for the new parts, to not get confused too much what is actually added in these sets. So that's something that I'm sadly always missing from Lego. To be honest, other manufacturers can sometimes get that a little bit better done, to be honest. Other than that, I I always like the instruction manual is better online, so I usually never build with the paper manual, but not just to mention it, in the end of it, you always get a part list with everything included in the box. Let's just see if you have any codes for their video game. Sadly, no. Just the regular advertisement sheets. Alright, and we are having 411 building steps to complete. So I would suggest we get started. Alright. Well, I can theoretically, you know what, might as well just use this as my mouse pad. This is better than nothing, I guess. Alright, so let's continue on with step number 1. Get away the kitchen knife. Probably does not look too good. Also, good evening to anybody watching this live. I very much appreciate you watching this, well, I hope rather interesting build of the first couple of steps of step number 75315. Also, I think I'm just gonna switch on my light a little bit brighter. There again. Alright, so back at it again, but with a little bit of better lighting to actually show the parts properly, because I realized that it's probably, how to say, a little bit hard to see the minifigurines, especially. Alright, so let's get going. So for now, it's this is all the parts that we are needing. So let me just shove them in here so that you can see everything that we are doing. And let's move on. So the first two minifigurines that we are getting in this box are Moff Gideon and the Mandalorian, both of which have a cape, which is made out of this sort of cloth fiber, and both of them have a different sort of cutting style to them. Let me just hold this in the camera really quickly. And this is the one for the Mandalorian, and this is the one for Moff Gideon. It has like this sort of double-sided color to it, where it's black in the back and this dark red in front. All right. All right. So for Moff Gideon, we are not getting printed leg pieces, but we have a printed torso on the front and the back side. So you can see, as well as in the front, as well as on the back side, there's printing to it. Let me just put the cape down so you can also see that we have a printed headpiece on both sides with two different facial expressions. Other than that, we have a regular black hairpiece and a chrome lightsaber grip, which is supposed to be, I guess, like the dark saber. Alright, let's set the minifigure aside for now. And the second one, as mentioned, is the Mandalorian himself. So in this older set, we are not yet having a face print for the figurine, so we are just getting a completely plain black headpiece, so to say. But we have printed arms, legs, and the torso, which is kind of cool. Let's just put the cape on. So this one also has like sort of a different style of gray, like a more light and more dark side of it, but it's rather not easy to tell that actually on camera. To be honest, I can't even really make out a lot of difference in person. The helmet piece basically is just like the one from Boba Fett with a different print and like color to it. It's all this sort of chrome color. Alright, so now that we have that done too, let's give him the two builds for his weapons. So we have um, dark brown lightsaber shaft with a very short pistol attached to it on one side and a claw piece on the other for his sort of rifle build. I hope that you can see that. It's rather small, but yeah, should be visible. And the other one is just a silver spear. So let's see if we can find it. If not, we will just add it a little bit later when we have gotten rid of some of the parts. Well, we will just add it later. Let's set it aside for now and actually start building our little starship. Alright. So I'm curious how large this actually is going to be. I hope I can fit it on the table properly, but I hope so. Alright, so we are starting off with a lot of plates, as you maybe can tell from the first couple of pictures that I've shown here too. We basically are building the whole front section of it, where we have a lot of different plating and wing pieces in light and dark bluish gray, as well as the Technic connection pieces on the middle of it. As you can see so far in terms of parts, all of it has a great color to be used. All of it either black, gray, or light bluish gray, so either light or dark bluish gray. Always very useful. And also, I found the spear that I was talking about. Let me just show you what I meant. It's just this chrome colored regular spear that they had in a lot of the older style adventure sets. And after adding this, we are finished with our minifigurines for this step. Alright, so let's continue on with basically putting together a lot of different plates, and all of them are basically just to connect the upper part of the ship later on. It reminds me a bit of the older style spaceships that they have brought out like a long time ago in terms of how we start building the lower part of it. So this is where we're at the moment. As you can see, the structure is going to be quite substantial in terms of size, I guess. Alright, and onto this will be added a bunch more plates. Basically, I guess it will be a lot of rigidity giving in terms of building experience, because this lower section of it usually is always just a bunch of these sort of platings. It's a little bit of the same as with the bigger UCS sets that also always need the lower part basically just is for stability, not so much decoration sadly. So if you want to display this on a shelf with a glass bottom, it might look a little bit dull, to be honest, because I don't think there is really any detailing that can be seen from the bottom side. We are getting two of these inverted tile pieces, which have the connector stud on the bottom to actually attach it onto these plates like this, and I guess it's for sliding it on the carpet or somewhere a little bit easier without breaking anything. Alright. And up front we're adding a slope piece. And 2x2 slope piece also in light bluish gray. So I don't really have to name that many of the bricks, because usually all of them are held very similarly in this first couple of steps, to be honest, just because of the rigidity that it provides to just basically stick to the same building style for most of these um, lower planes. Basically, they always just use the same slope piece and the same sort of plating. Basically, it's just a different length of the plates, but all of them are, as you can see, very similar because they are all the same color. Looks a little bit plain, to be honest. I would have appreciated maybe to have a little bit more divergence of light and dark bluish gray to basically give it more detailing, or like making it look like it. All of this is maybe little rows of windows on like armor plating on the outside, something like that. Could have looked kind of cool, but yeah, they did not go for any sort of detailing here anyway, as mentioned. But maybe we will find a way to that a little bit later. So this is the first technique connection that we are putting in. It's just these very long one brick wide connectors with different with technicals on the sides of them, and we are just attaching them onto the main build to give it more structure. It provides this sort of front that goes through the whole build with the same height already. Probably is going to be tiled off later on too. And there's two red 1x1 brick with rounded corners, probably just for um, some sort of plating or rigidity reasons. Hopefully they are not visible too much later on, because this red actually really shines through. Alright, more of the technic connectors here. These are these angled pieces, for example, known from the USS Millennium Falcon, the 8080. They are getting put here with these three long Technic pins in blue. Let's scroll a little bit further down. Let's see. So, and now these Technic pins are just being shoved into the main one that we placed earlier on, just to give everything more rigidity. Alright, next up, there is more of these Technic connectors, but these ones are 8 studs long. And before this one is being placed, I should have placed the 1x1 brick that is in the middle. So probably this 1x1 bricks in red will just be used for additional rigidity when we are plating this part of the build off. So let's get the fourth one. And this is how we are looking like at the moment. So now we are starting to plate it off from the top side. And this is how the top side of it looks now. Just two 2x6 white plates. And then on the outside a 1x4 plate on each side too. Oh, and I nearly forgot to add the 2x1 plate in sand gray, or like, what color is this? Sand, some sort of sand. Okay, on the outside there are two little side builds, which are just 2 steps long each. Where we're just placing a 2x1 plate upon another 2x1 plate. And on the front there is a cheese slope. All of it is in light bluish gray. And this is getting built twice. Also, let's press it down on the table a little bit, so it's getting a little bit less of, how should I say, crooked, I guess. Alright, it's being added to the outsides of the plates and gives it a tiled off look. I appreciate that detail. Next up there's a lot of slope pieces. Alright, so there's 4 slope pieces 2 by 2 and 2 2 by 1 being added up here. Let me just turn it around. On the bottom side, it's getting a little bit of a better shape through this. Nice to see. All right. And 2 more of the 2 by 2 slope pieces for the front side of that. All right. Just continuing with plating it off a little bit more. Oh, whoops. I'm just realizing that I'm putting some of this stuff up on the wrong side because I had it turned around the wrong way. Whoops. Let's just fix that really quick. And then I can also show what I've added so far. We are on step 21 at the moment. And now we are finished with it. So this actually was supposed to be in the back side, so terribly sorry to not realize that. And up front here we added some 2 by 1 tiles, also in light bluish gray. All right. All right, before I'm gonna start with the side build, we just added these parts here. Gives it a little bit more of the main structure up front that we will build up later on. And now we are doing a side build for one of the wings, I suppose the bottom side of it. All right. All right, so this is step 26, And you can see we are building a lot of these wing pieces being plated upon each other. I like this sort of building style a lot. Also, we have some black grill pieces. Always great to see. All right, so we are adding this to our front side and we are putting it here. Yeah. So we are having like a few extra studs left here that we can just attach it to. It's a little bit wobbly at this point, so I'm just gonna put it to the side for now. And now we're gonna build the second side of that. Just the same build, which is mirrored. Alright, already finished with the second side. Just a lot of floor plating. And this is attached to the other side. Alright, are we actually able to attach these or are they just lying this here? I think by now they just shove this into here. So this, I can sadly not show you that because it's in more detail, because basically this is just lying on the table by now. But we are shoving these plates into the middle here. And let's just see, we are attaching a plate on the top side of it. Let me just scoot a little bit closer. I kind of need glasses at this point, but I'm just not wanting to wear them. So I always just have to scoot really close to the screen. So I apologize if I squint a bit at sometimes. Alright, so we attached the top plate. This now holds all the bottom structure in place. As you can see, we have no color sticking out here. We just have basically light bluish gray. And here we are building the floor at this point. Because it's a playset, there is some sort of function to this in the middle section here, I suppose. I've not checked it exactly, to be completely honest. Alright, so now that we are adding a little bit more plating to the floor, we are also getting some of our first details for this set. I kind of appreciate the red 1x1 trans clear pieces which are being put up in the front section. I guess this is symbolizing like some sort of hanger or something like that. I would have to look at it in the finished state. So let's not assume too much, I guess. All right, after all of this plating, the front is getting some bricks, some Technic bricks and some regular ones. Basically, the Technic brick will probably be for, well, I guess, a connection. Also, we have these 2x3 slope pieces. Alright, so we have put on more plates up top and some tiles in the back. These are 1x3 tiles. As you can see from me handling it, it is quite sturdy. Alright, in the middle of it here is one plate that's also, again, just being put in here like this without a connection at first. And then we are adding a 4x8 plate to finish off the tiling of the floor. Alright, so now it's already showing you the play area in the front. And it is quite big actually. Alright. We just added another black plate. Oh no, it's not black, sorry, it is dark bluish gray, sorry. I'm so happy that I'm getting all of these grill pieces here because they are actually very much what I need for a different build. So I was a little bit off in my mind. And also we have a 2x2, how is it called? Slope piece, but the negative way around. So, or like you could say these are the negative sloped ones and these are the positive sloped ones, I guess. Apparently we are building the control stand because we are adding our first stickers a little bit earlier than I thought. Alright, so they are just attached to this dark bluish gray slope pieces that I just mentioned. This is the print of the first one, or like print the first sticker that I butched while putting on there, I guess. But yeah. So let's see, we have number 6, which is going on this side. It's also very important that these are different. It basically just looks the complete same. So I could, from far away, I could not even really tell that one. But yes, this is the other one. But yeah, also as I mentioned, a little bit having problems seeing already, so maybe that's contributing to that factor. So if there's stickers attached on the slopes here, I need to see that it doesn't shimmer too much. This is how it look like. All right, so there's another side build following now. A lot of hinge pieces that we are getting here. I guess we are building the front side somehow. All right, step 49 is finished. As you can see, we have hinge pieces on the bottom and the top side. And some connectors, I guess. And it is getting placed here up front to basically create this sort of back shape to it that's flowing to the outline, like this flowy outline here. All right, up front, we are doing a technic connection to make it more sturdy, to make the nose not be able to break off so easy, I guess. So it's this lift arm with with three, uh, I said, technic pins, and we are just attaching it to the front. So let me just show you. There is a technic piece on the bottom and the top side, and now we're just putting this thing here. Let's see how to do this easy. All right, as you can see, it's up here, and now it's 30. So there is a mechanic to, I think, shoot out little TIE fighters from this front side. And for that, we are actually attaching a mechanism here. Thank you so much for the follow. I very much appreciate the support. Welcome to the stream. You've been in the army in Russia. Whoa, that's crazy. Well, I could not imagine that. You've never seen what things? That must be such a trip to actually, like, I don't know, military training in Russia probably is like horribly hard, right? I could not imagine. Jesus Christ. All right, so we are putting this sort of technic pin through the bottom mounting point, and there is this sort of half piece that we can put upon it. But I got to say, it is kind of like a little bit loose, so the connection is not fitting properly. Thank you so much for the follow. I very much appreciate the support for the stream. Welcome to the stream. So let's attach it to the front side. So there is this Technic pin that we are going to put through the connection that we made earlier on. Yeah, let's just put this together. Oh no, I'm not American. I'm from Europe. So this is the connection that we made now. Basically, it's a little mechanism where we are putting TIE fighters here later on, and we can just basically launch them out by shoving this thing out in, by, by using this mechanism for it, I guess. Yes, actually, we have mandatory army service in our country. Still, we had a public vote to decide upon it, and actually, my country decided that, yeah, that's a great thing to do. Actually, yes. I was not the biggest fan of it. Just to say that. Yeah, totally. So our government gives us the option to basically decide if you want to work in social service or if you want to go to the army. And I personally very much did not want to go to the army, so I was very thankful to actually work in social services. But for that, you have to actually work a lot longer than if you actually would go to the army. You are completely right. I think everybody should be able to decide their own fate and not be dictated that by somebody else. I completely agree. So I finished our first step of this build. We are at finished with step 52 of the instruction manual. And this is how it looks like. It is basically just a lot of base plating at this point. But it is rather roomy and the minifigures can be placed quite well. All right, so let's continue on with our second step. I hope these sounds are not too annoying. I'm going to try to keep them at a minimum. Oh, thank you. No, I'm not 34, I'm 26, but close to it. Yeah, I look pretty old, I guess. I did like one of those photo matching things where it tells you a score for the photo that you submit, and it also always comes out around 33. So yeah, I have a pretty old looking face. I think. All right, for this second step on 53, we are actually having to turn it around and continuing from here on. Starting off with just putting some break here for the connection pieces to align properly. And then there's a lot of technique structure that we are implementing here. Yeah, exactly. But pretty close to Germany. Probably pretty hearable from my accent, I guess. Or some of the pronunciation from of my English, I feel. But I'm trying to work on that. I feel like when German and English are just like such different like pronunciations of things, like in terms of like the harshness of sounds in the language. Like in English it just all sounds so much less harsh and like a lot more soft than when you actually talk German, for example. Totally. At the moment, we are adding these decorations to the side. We just put on a lot of these technique connections here and here. And now these sort of decorative pieces, which consist out of these dishes with different technique connectors in them. And then there's these sort of cross plates here, which are kind of useful. And these are getting a lot of G slopes, one on each corner. And all of that is done twice. All right, so let's show you the first side of it. This is how the detailing looks like. Sort of a pressure valve or something like that. Looks kind of cool. And it's attached by the backside of these technique pins. Alright, second side. Just gonna show you the actual build itself, just to see it a little bit closer. And then let's just attach it. Alright, so next up, we are finished with this for now. We are doing a side build for the right side of the front section, I suppose. Alright, so we are continuing with just putting technique pins in. Basically just to do the plating on the outside, I suppose. Alright. Thank you so much for the follow. I very much appreciate that you support the stream. I hope you enjoy your time. So, we are basically just plating this off now to give it the proper structural height. And we are using a lot of these wing pieces again. I like the usage of all these these light bluish gray wing pieces that are being put in this box. It's great for a lot of different starship builds. Oh, thank you so much. I very much appreciate that. Kind of a cool shape to it, like with this swivel joint here. Alright, cool. So we are tiling the top side off, and then I'm doing another side build to it. Alright, let's put this aside for now. Alright, on step 68, we have now put the second technique right here upon this, and all of this will connect towards this other row later on, from what I can tell. First, though, we are giving it more rigidity with plates and more technique connections. It was kind of hard to tell in the instruction manual where to actually put the plate, because it does not look like this dark bluish gray technique pin here strikes out, but the instruction manual is just a little bit dark in that area, so it actually fits. Alright, so we are attaching some more technique pieces here. Let's go further down, and now all of it gets connected towards each other. So because there's two layers of these technique pins here, we can just hook in the other side where there's one stud connection left, or like one pin connection, I guess. And we just put these two together. Alright, and now we're not even plating it off for now, we're just attaching this to the main build. Let's see. So this here can basically, there's some spacing left here, and we just attach it into this. Snap this in place, and then there's a Technic pin that we can shove through. So let me just show you first maybe. So as mentioned, there is some spacing left that we can put this here. This part up front has a Technic connector that we can shove through. We just have to align it properly with the way that the ship is supposed to be formed up front. Alright, and now it is already rather sturdy. A lot of Technic connection, there is no wobble in this anymore. And it gives off a rather good shape, I guess. I've heard a lot of critique about this set being too big or wide on the front and too small and slim on the back. But so far, the overall shape of the front side, I think, is kind of okay. Maybe it's just the back side that needs to be built a little bit more substantially. We will see. So, on the other side, the same procedure will follow now. We are just basically mirroring what we just built. Alright, we have step number 1 finished again. I very much appreciate the form of this hinge piece, like that gives off on the finished bit as well. I think that's actually a very cool concept to use this to form the shape of a ship. I also very much like the way that, for example, the 8080 was shaped in the UCS collection, like in terms of the main body and how the different angles come together. reminds me of that here too, with all the different hinge pieces being used. Alright, finishing the last couple of steps. I think on 89 we will already be able to put this part in. Alright, so this is our second step being done. And now everything gets aligned again. Just a mirrored version of it. And let's put this into our main build. Oh, by the way, the tile that we have placed on the outside here is used to basically hold up this side piece up here. I think that's pretty cool. And the front side is being mounted in the same way as before with the Technic pin. This is how it looks by now. The overall form and shape comes out quite well, I guess. And there will be a lot of plating for the side pieces, I suppose. Alright, next up we are putting in a couple of Technic struts again. Like this is this 1x3 lift arms, and we are putting these Technic pins in the blue 3 long ones. And they are getting added up here to our main structure to make it less likely that it snaps. Oop. And let's do the other side. Alright, so in the back we have placed these two Technic lift arms that I just mentioned before. It's quite sturdy. Oh, now we are plating off the front. And a couple of stickers are being placed as well. Hello, thank you so much for the support. Very much appreciate the follow. Welcome to the stream. So our first sticker is being done. That's this little control panel. That was number, which is C2, so we are adding it on the right side. Just checking so I know where I can place it. Oh, I gotta say, I think, yeah, it requires a little bit of patience at some parts. It can be so cathartic though. It's like so relaxing for me, to be honest, to do this. Like especially if you're like stressed after like a long day at work, it's just always so lovely to just like relax. Building some Lego, at least for me, it's just bringing my mind into a different mindset, I guess. This is the second sticker we placed. And now let's put this in. It's these 3x3 plates on the bottom side that are holding it in place and giving our complete structure more rigidity. Oh, I love puzzles. I think are awesome, to be honest. I like puzzles like in real life, like putting together like thousand piece puzzles, but I also love like puzzle games. And it's like, I don't know, it's one of my favorite hobbies. That's probably also why I like Lego a lot. It's just I don't know, a lot of Lego sets feel like they're just big puzzles. I love stuff that involves your brain a little bit, but in a fun way. On the top side, there was some spacing left out, and we're just plating this off as the last part of step number 2. Let's just put it down for that because I kind of feel like I'm breaking it otherwise. All right, so let's continue onward with step number 3. But I'm sure you have some other great skills. That's so kind of you, thank you. I got to say, I sometimes, when I was a bit younger, I was like very impatient sometimes too, and like kind of um, got a bit better with my own impatience when I started doing more Lego again. So I loved Lego as a child, but then I kind of fell out of it a little bit during my teenage years. Yeah, totally. Everybody is great at something. I think everybody just has their own special talents. Like everybody is different, but still great. I think. All right, so let's open both bags. Step number 3. Apparently, we are putting a lot of parts onto our main build, so sadly we cannot put it away for now. I'm terribly sorry if this noise level is a little bit high. I'm trying to move it a little bit more. How should I say? Um, less loud. Alright. That's everything for step number 3 on the team. Let's continue on. Apparently with some technical structure for basically, I guess, what will be the bridge later on. So there was just a bunch of plastic falling on the floor. Was not the best idea to just stack everything on there. It's also like kind of ridiculous how much plastic that these sets always have in terms of the bags. Alright, I hope it's visible what we are doing. So we are just adding technical parts to our structure. So this is basically the height now. Oh yes, I'm a very, very big Star Wars fan, to be honest. I love Star Wars. I think it's a very cool franchise, especially the older movies. I love 4 to 6 the most, to be honest. Um, I just love the way that they did the special effects back then. Like all of the stuff was like done with real models, and it's just awesome. I can totally nerd out on that subject. A lot of technique lift arms being put together with a lot of pins, and that's being implemented here into the open technique course. We are just attaching this to, and that's snapping it in place if I manage to. Maybe I should put it down. It was a little bit tough, but we managed to. This is how we're looking like. Quite some height that we are gaining here. All right. And on the other side, the same thing is being attached. Just a Technic lift arm. Let's mount the little piece first, maybe. What do you do with them after you're done? I usually, honestly, I'm more of a collector. I'm not a reseller or anything. I usually just have like most of my models in a different room, and just in the back, as you can maybe see, we have a few displayed from the streams that we have done, like the little Grogu next to my head here. But usually I honestly just collect them for my personal hobby. Um, I just love Lego for a long time. I've fallen out of it a little bit at some point, but got back into it a lot, and ever since then I'm just basically collecting sets that I like. So I kind of with this build in particular, I just want to put it next to the UCS Star Destroyer that I have on a shelf somewhere. The Lego movies, no. I've only collected a couple of different sorts of styles, I guess, that I actually like. So I love the Lego Ideas series. For example, I got a lot of those sets. I like the Nintendo stuff, the 64 with the little TV, as well as the question mark cube that I think you can't even see on the webcam. Um, but I didn't get into stuff like the Lego movies themselves. I mean, I've watched them. I think they are quite cute. Um, but I don't know. I just didn't really collect Lego at the time when those sets were out. To be honest, too. Our technique structure becomes a little bit more, um, I guess, built up. We are attaching more of these lift arms that basically hold together the whole construction. Alright, so this attaches with Technic pins on the top and on the side. And then we just shove it in there. This is how the structure looks like. Alright, so just attaching the second side to it. Alright, so this is how it's looking like by now. Just a bunch of Technic connections here. But it's really useful because you can use it as a grip basically, and as you can see, it's holding quite well. We are building up a little bit of the side structure for the back side of the model now. Some grilled elements and a lot of these sort of angled brick pieces. I'm just gonna finish the last couple of steps on this side before I'm going to show you what we have done. So afterwards we are building a side step anyway. So we are adding all of these side pieces here and some grill pieces up in the back and some connection, or like basically just for sturdiness. We have a 2x4 brick here. Alright. For now we can side this build aside a little bit because we are actually continuing with a side build. Alright, so we completed our little side build consisting of a lot of these wing pieces and regular plates. And now we are actually attaching it onto the bricks that we placed here earlier. Let me just hold this like the way this wants me to be placed. Yeah. I see. So this is a little bit further down, and now we are just attaching these plates onto the bricks. Should probably do this while this is put down, but yeah, this is how it's looking like. Giving off quite a cool form actually. Quite a massive piece of Lego at this point. This is a little bit bigger than I expected. But I don't want to complain, I guess. It's very useful that you have this massive grip in the middle to actually hold it. Alright, and now we are doing the other side. Basically, it's just mirrored again. Alright, so this is the second side being uh, put together with all the bricks on this side, on these angles, and the grid pieces mentioned on the other one already. Alright, so our next side build is being done. All the plates up here are now going onto our main build. On the other side, as you can see, is still open. And let's just put that together. All right. This is how we are looking now. We have kind of a diamond shape to it. All right. I may or may not have just broken something again. That was a little bit too forceful, I suppose. All right. Looks good. We're just adding the plating up top to basically give it more structure, or in my case, to break it a bit. All right. So we have finished our main build for now again. Up here. Let's put it to the side. All right. So that you maybe can see it a little bit. Cool. Hi, Buten. Great to see you. All right. So we have another side build. Oh, I feel you. I'm pretty sleep deprived too today, to be honest. And I kind of pushed away eating a little bit longer than I probably should have, but I wanted to stream first. So I'm kind of at the um, last couple of building steps anyway for today. So I'm basically doing this a little bit larger build. Let me just get the huge board. I can just basically just cover myself with this. So we having like a lot of steps left. We are just on step 3 of like um I think, yeah, 9 steps are included in the board. So we are going to continue another time, probably. But I just wanna finish step number 3. As you can see, we have a couple of parts left anyway. Alright, so I very much like the shape that these angled pieces are giving off. I feel like there's something missing in the middle of it, but other than that, I kind of appreciate it. I could have probably put something in here, but other than that, there's just a lot of the light bluish gray plates. Like you're getting so many of these wing pieces and plates. It's great actually for like the parting value of this set. It's probably not even that bad if you can get it at a rebate. But it's hard because it's like Lego exclusive a little bit. I've not seen this in any retail store. I've just seen it with retail resellers basically. Like um, you can get it I think on Amazon and stuff like that. Like mentioned. Other side looks exactly the same, and all of that is sitting on this 6x10 plate up and up. More plating that we are doing for the rigidity, especially probably. Adds quite a bit of space to this actually. Like the whole build itself is a little bit more massive than I had expected, to be honest. It always looks a bit smaller when you watch a review on these sets than when you actually have them up on the table. Here we're getting quite a few tiles and grill pieces all in dark bluish gray. That's quite good so far. I guess this is like the backside structure that we are building. I'm not exactly sure. Alright, so the side build is done for now. Now we're building a lot of these Technic pins that we have to connect with the Technic brick. It's not lift arms, it's bricks, I guess. I always kind of confuse the difference between the two. Okay, so far it's just a lot of Technic with some connections being made with these sort of pins in red this time. And it just continues on this way. We're basically putting the main Technic structure in for the backside of our build. A great idea actually, because especially as a playset, you want these sort of ships to actually hold up well. I just gotta say. Um, for some of it, they could theoretically use black pins instead of, for example, red and blue. Would be quite cool because it gives off a better look. But I mean, they don't do this for any set, so why would they start doing it here? All right. Alright, so this is the structure so far. Just like a lot of different pin connections. Oops. And now we are already connecting it with our other side build. Let's see how we are aligning this. So we have some bricks already put here, and these are just supposed to line up with those. And the other stuff is just attached in the middle of the regular brick connection. Alright. This is how we're looking like. Let's plate this off a little bit more. Just lots of plates up top again. These wing pieces are like these really big wing pieces are used like quite often in this build. At least I can see like at least 6 of them already. Oh, 8 of them already, so it's very useful pieces to have. My mouse does not like the instruction manual as a mouse pad. Let's just see to not skip a step. Alright, so some of the last pieces that we are putting up for today. Just more plates to give it rigidity again. Even though I gotta say, like, this already is. This is a freaking hammer. Like, you can see, some of it just probably all snaps. But yeah, it's very sturdy. Quite definitely. Alright, so this is basically building up another layer up here. All of these plates are just being used to stack up more plates on top. Well, it is very, very sturdy at this point. And we have some dark bluish gray grill pieces for the side as decoration. I like the layered effect. It gives it a little bit of a three-dimensional feeling to it with the different wings and other plates. I appreciate it. Looks cooler than I expected. Alright, so all of this now has to be somehow implemented into the main structure here. This will be interesting. So basically, this gets shoved through here. And then we will attach it here, I suppose. Yeah, I think here. Let me just see if this actually aligns properly. I think this makes sense. Yes. So, and then you're just basically shoving it onto it and pressing down on the connections. But let me just maybe push upon this a little bit on my table. It's a little bit harder to do it when you try to show it in front of the camera. But it's fitting properly now. So this is how we're looking, and I can see that the critique that some people have, I guess, already coming out a little bit, because the front is like quite substantial and large, whereas the backside could probably just be like prolonged a couple of studs, like maybe 5 to 8 studs longer would probably look a little bit better. But other than that, I like the way that they construct this. Let's see how they are connecting all of it. I'm sure there's a lot of Technic pins here. Yep. We're basically just shoving through blue connector pins. Just up here. And that's just gets pushed through. Alright. This is being put through here. And it gives the main structure a connection to this sort of grip that we had earlier. Now it really is like super sturdy. I'm just gonna put this in on the other side as well, even though the instruction manual does not tell me so. I'm very certain that this is just being mirrored. Oops. A little bit more decoration with the grill pieces. Actually also gives it a little bit of sturdiness at top. And then it's just putting the same pins into the other side. So we're at 146 now. Just some more plating. You can see this middle side is completely open still. And this is where we are putting some structural pieces. The upside plating is giving it like less possibility to slip out there, but yeah, well, the whole Technic construct is like fixed on multiple sides, so I would not really see where this would be even going. But it's great to see that they actually care for the rigidity of these builds a lot. So next up, we are putting together these little side builds here, consisting of a 2x8 plate in sand color, and these pieces in the middle, they are black 1x6 brick, and these side pieces with the slopes. Alright, and we are putting this together twice. and they are just being put here as placeholders basically. Rather consistent. Gives everything the same height in terms of plate level, and the overall structure comes out too. Alright, so more plating and some little detailing, I guess, for the interior side up front, because we have a trans clear red piece up here, and then a lot more plating up here. In the back here, I guess we are adding the last pieces to make it more sturdy. There will be probably a technic connecting lift arm piece put there. And also nearly forgot a slope piece for the middle part of this bridge design. Alright. So now for the last couple of pieces, a technic connection, the different lift arms. This is how the side build looks like. Alright. And we are going to put these here so that this one hooks into the middle of the two. So I fear that's something I have to push together first before I can show you, because it's just not really easy to keep all of this in place and still press onto it. But as you can see, this is the connection. It goes down all the way to the lowest point here that I cannot even fit my finger through. And it's basically just holding all of it together. And at this point, you can probably not break it easy if you do not hold it like that. Maybe that way you can break it easily for sure. But once this is attached, it's kind of holding quite well. And it's being mirrored from the other side, and just being put there exactly the same way as before. Alright, now that we shoved this in, this is how it's looking like. Alright, and to finish off our building process for today, there's these 2x6 plates in black that are being attached between the two bridge pieces that we just put together. Step number 3 was actually a lot of pieces, I got to say. And you can see like see how substantial this has become by now. I got to say, I kind of like the backs right now, that it starts building up these sort of sloped areas here and the vents and everything. That looks kind of cool actually. I appreciate that. And I think the side pieces, these ones here, are also really cool. I like the design of it. I'm curious how they will continue on the front side, and especially how the interior will be like kind of covered by the top side of it. I'm very much curious. Also, about the bridge design. When we are actually done with it, I did not hear the best things about that, but there is a lot of mods that you could probably do to this. I think it has actually a really great rigidity to it. I love the base structure of it. I think you can build up a quite cool model on this. So maybe after we finish the full set, we will try to improve upon it a little bit, because I have like I always mentioned, I have a lot of different light bluish gray and dark bluish gray parts and all of that. So I love building in that color. So I'm sure we'll find a way to make this a little bit better afterwards too. Cool. So I have to say, like, for the first couple of steps, it was actually quite fun. I think for like building there for like 2 hours by now. Um, it's quite a large set. You 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 use a lot of Technic connections at first. It feels like most of the actually use the assets where you build up a lot of Technic first before you actually do the detailing and stuff. It has some functions in it that we already implemented. The two minifigures that I've seen so far are quite cute, even though like I have um, Mando quite often already. I did not have Moff Gideon yet, so um, that's that's something to mention maybe. And other than that, I think the overall building process of it so far was really fun. Um, I don't think it's fun to like rush through all 9 steps in one stream, to be honest. So that's also where I'm drawing the line for today. Um, in terms of review purposes, I think I can't really say too much about the full set yet, so I don't wanna bore you with that section. I just wanna conclude it maybe by stating the price again, and like the parts and the numbers. So we are looking at set number 75315, and it's all in all, it's supposed to consist of 1,336 parts for 160 euros or dollars. So terrible price per piece ratio when you hear these numbers. But as mentioned, you can sometimes find a reseller having it for a little bit lower than that. Um, so for value set, definitely not. I can already tell you that's not a value set at all. But it is it's quite fun to build so far. I'm looking forward to continuing it. I will probably just continue this set tomorrow in tomorrow's stream actually, and I'm very much looking forward to that. Maybe you tune in again. I'm always very happy for all the people watching this live. Thank you so much for being part of the stream again. I appreciate all of you so much. Maybe I see you tomorrow, Butin. Other than that, I hope all of you have a great rest of your evening or night. And um, thank you so much for tuning in. See you soon. Goodbye.